Today we're going to be talking about standardized scores, or here again, the Z-scores. But instead of talking about two players in the same year, like we did yesterday with the home runs versus batting average, today we're going to compare home runs across different eras. Okay? So we're going to be looking at baseball. And in the Major League Baseball, the single-season home run record was improved just 3 times since Babe Ruth hit 60 home runs in 1927. Roger Maris hit 61 in 1961, and Mark McGwire hit 70 in 1998. And Barry Bonds hit 73 in 2001. In an absolute sense, you would think that Barry Bonds had the best performance of the 4 players. Since he hit the most home runs in a single season. However, like we discussed yesterday, in a relative sense, this may not be true. Yes, we're comparing the same thing as in home runs, but baseball historians have suggested that hitting a home run was easier in some years than in others. This discrepancy is due to many factors, including the quality of batters, the quality of pitchers, hardness of the baseball, and dimensions of a ballpark, and the possible use of performance-enhancing drugs. So there's all this stuff out there that could have affected how easy or hard it is to hit a home run. To make a fair comparison, we need to see how these performances compare relatively to other hitters in the same era. The following table shows the mean and standard deviation of the number of home runs hit during each year that the home run record was set, using only the players with the average of at least 3.1 plate appearances per game. So they had to have over 3 plate appearances per game in order to be calculated in this data. So here's our data. Looking at the table above, we see that the means and the standard deviations are all fairly similar except for 1927. So in other words, the data here and here are similar, but not these two. So that could affect what our data shows. When both the mean number of home runs and the standard deviations were much lower. Now let's examine the 4 record-setting performances and the standardized scores for the record-setting performances. So we're going to find the Z-scores by using the formula that we learned yesterday. The formula being performance minus the mean all over standard deviation. SD is standard deviation. So let's look at Babe Ruth. To find his Z-score, using that formula, you're going to do 60 minus 7.2 divided by 9.7. If you put that in a calculator, you should get out 5.44. I want you to find the Z-score for these 3 That's for you to do on your own. Numbers 1 through 3. Okay, so you do those. So you can pause the video now so you can complete this task. All 4 performances are noteworthy. Because once you find these 3 z-scores, you're going to notice that they are all above the mean. But you're going to put the name of the person that had the highest z-score here. So you need to find the z-scores. Okay? So whoever this is appears to have the most outstanding z-score by a large margin relative to the other players in his era. His achievement was more than 5 standard deviations above the mean in 1927, whereas none of the other accomplishments were more than 4 standard deviations above the mean. Although Barry Bonds' name appears in the record books as holding the home run record, the data suggests that Babe Ruth may have been considered the single-season home run champ, relatively speaking. And one cool thing is, when I play ball, is I actually had a drill that was named after Barry Bonds. And it was a really cool drill. Okay? So your classwork for today, once you finish the video, is to complete the example problem about comparing the Steelers. Okay? So complete these problems.